So today is very important concept we're going to discuss. Okay, so we are going to discuss a very important concept, that is the framework. Okay, so before that we had one pending concept, explicit weight. Let us finish that explicit weight and let's continue. Okay, now guys, if you look at implicit weight, if you look at implicit weight, there's a drawback of implicit weight. Okay, so what is the drawback of implicit weight? Look at my screen. Okay, there is one drawback of implicit weight. So what is the drawback of implicit weight? It supports only find element and find elements. What it is? What's the drawback? What's the drawback of implicit weight? It supports only find element and find elements. It does not support any other method. Okay, it does not support any other methods like get method, get current URL, post method. Okay, like close method, quit method. It does not support any other method, isn't it? Isn't it? It supports only two methods. One is find elements and find elements. Okay, in order to overcome this drawback, anyways, your complete program is built on the structure of find element and find elements only. Okay, your complete program is built on find element and find elements only. Okay, so we use only implicit weight. Okay, but still I want to use for other methods. Still, if I want to use for other methods, I'll go with what? Explicit weight. I'll go with what? Explicit weight. Let's talk about explicit weight now. Look at my screen. Explicitly weight. Syntax. Create an object for WebDriver weight. Okay, there's a class called what? WebDriver weight is a class. So we are creating an object. WebDriver W is equals to new WebDriver weight. So we need to create an object. WebDriver weight W is equals to new WebDriver weight. Okay, here I need to write it as driver, comma, duration of duration of seconds. Duration of seconds. Okay, next W dot until expected conditions dot. Okay, expected conditions is a class. Okay, so what we have to do? We have to create an object. We have to create an object. WebDriver W is equals to new WebDriver weight. Okay, then we have to write W dot until expected conditions. So we have three things. Okay, one is wherever you want to perform typing action. Okay, remember Wherever you want to perform typing action, we use a method called as visibility of. Visibility of. Okay. Wherever we perform click option. Wherever we perform click option. So there we write element to be clickable. Okay. Now, for example case, look here. We have one more is title contains. Title contains. I'll tell you what's the use of this. All these are methods of expected conditions class. Are you understanding? Expected conditions is a class and all these are method. Now, this is your login page. This is your login page. When you enter username, password, when you click on login, you have to check whether it is going to the home page or not. Isn't it? Isn't it? When you enter username, password, you click on login, you have to check whether it is going to the home page or not. Yes or no? So for that, it takes some time. It takes some time for it to load to the home page. Yes or no? Everybody agrees. Everybody agrees it takes some time to load for that home page. So for that we can use the condition here. Title contains. For that we can use the condition over here. Title contains. Okay. So first we are going to create an object for WebDriver wait, driver dot duration of seconds, and wait until the expected conditions of. Expected conditions is a class, and all these are methods, and all these are methods. Visibility of. So when do you use visibility of? Whenever you want typing action, we use visibility of. Whenever we perform click, then we use element to be clickable. Whenever from one page to another page you want to wait, then we use title contains. Clear? Clear? When to use what method? Okay. Now let's see the flow diagram of explicit wait. Flow diagram of explicitly wait. Okay. First thing. Now, please, I'll give you the clarity again. Now, understand this. Okay. Now, look here. When to use this, when to use that, I'll give you the clarity. First is find elements, explicit wait synchronizes find element and find elements and all the methods. Okay. What's the first point? Explicit wait synchronizes all the methods, including what? Find element and find elements. Okay. It will check whether the condition is satisfied. It will check whether the condition is condition is satisfied. Yes, the condition is satisfied. It goes to the next line of the code. No, if the condition is not satisfied, it'll check whether the given time is over. Yes, the given time is over. Then it will throw you timeout exception. If a time is not over, internally it will wait for 0.5 seconds. This waiting period is called as polling period. Okay, what is the condition? This is the condition. Wait until the expected conditions. Whatever we are writing now, this is called as condition. Okay, wait until the expected condition. Whatever we are writing now, this is called as the condition. Clear? Are you understanding? This is called as your expected condition. Okay, now look at here. Now, when to use implicit wait and when to use explicit wait, let me tell you. Implicit wait. Now look here, when to use this? See, always our pages take some time for the loading. Correct? Always our pages take what? Some time for loading, isn't it? Because of internet issue, because of server issue, because of some blah 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 issue, it takes some time. Okay, for the loading of the page and elements loading. For elements loading. When they use explicitly wait, when do you use explicitly wait? We use explicit wait before it perform action. Before performing action. That means, that means, see, the page is loaded. Okay, there's one page and the page is loaded. So there is a username. Before I perform the action, before I can perform, means I want to perform what typing action, clicking action. Okay, I perform what action? Before I perform any action, if you wanted to give any waiting statement, you can give it. Okay, you can give it. And this is applicable explicitly for particular condition. It's not applicable for throughout your program. Are you understanding? This is not applicable throughout the program, and this is applicable for only one line of the code. Means it's a condition. Before you perform the action, you're applying the condition. So your explicit wait is also somewhat like thread dot sleep. But it's also like thread dot sleep only. For real time, we don't use explicit wait. Very rare. If you want, we will use. Else, no. We always use 99% only explicit wait. We are going to use it. Okay, only explicit wait we are going to use it. Clear? Clear, everyone? Okay, please copy this. Copy down this. Let me write it off this also so you can copy down. Okay. Explicitly wait synchronizes all the methods, including find element and find elements. Explicit wait synchronizes all the methods including find element and find element. Okay, first thing. It'll search for the it'll check the condition is it'll check for the condition is satisfied. Yes, if the condition is satisfied, yes, if the condition is satisfied, it goes to the it goes to the next line of the code. If the condition is if the condition is not satisfied, okay, it checks whether the condition is satisfied. If the condition is satisfied, it goes to the next line of the code. If the condition is not satisfied, it will check the given time is the given time is over. Yes, the given time over. It goes to the next line of the code. Sorry. What was the last sentence? One second. If the condition is not certain, check whether the given time is over. Yes, if the time is over, if the given time is over, it will throw timeout exception. Internally, it will wait for 0.5 milliseconds. This waiting period is called as polling period. This process this process continues until the condition is satisfied. Condition is satisfied or the given time is over. Given time is over. Okay? Start making a note. Start making the dot sleep is like a blind wait. If you give 5 seconds, it will wait completely. If you give explicit wait, it will wait only for 3 seconds, right? Within that, it will find an address now. So thread dot's explicit wait is only best to know. Thread dot sleep 5 seconds, 5 seconds, and 5 seconds, it will take complete 5 seconds. But what about your explicit wait? Until the element is found. Whether it can be 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Yes or no, Roshni? and explicitly read. What is difference between implicit and explicitly wait? Now observe carefully. Okay, observe carefully. The implicit wait synchronizes. Implicit wait synchronizes only find element and find element. But in explicit wait synchronizes all the methods, including find element and find element and find elements. Okay, next. If element is not found, the element is not found. It throws no such element exception. Next, if the element is not found, it throws a timeout exception. Okay? Yes. Next, okay? In implicit wait. Implicit wait. Uh, we don't specify any conditions, but here we specify the conditions. Okay, start writing. Learn and write. Learn and write. Finished writing? Guys, finished writing? Completed? Now look at my screen. Look at my screen. Now let's apply this, okay? Where to apply? Yes, it's all going that way. I'm going to write it in the same program. I'm going to write it in the same program. Where is it? Ah, there's one program here. I'm going to write it in the same program. This is just a statement. This is just a statement. Okay. Now let me create a class. Synchronization. Okay. Now look at this program you already know. So what is the use of this program? Observe here. It is used to open the browser. It is used to open the browser. Enter the URL. Okay. And it is used to enter username, password, click on login. Title. This one you already know and verify whether it's a login script for active time application. What is this? It's a login script for active time application. That's all. It is very simple and clear. Now if you look at this, if you look at this, before I perform typing action, okay, before I perform typing action, I need to check whether the element is present, okay, whether the element is fully loaded or I am able to perform the action or not. That I need to check. Are you understanding what I need to check? Before I perform the action on this element, I need to check whether the element is completely loaded, whether the element is completely loaded or not. I need to check. Now for that, step number one, we are going to create an object. There is one class called WebDriver wait. There's one class called WebDriver wait. So create an object, new WebDriver wait. Driver dot duration of seconds. Okay. Are you understanding? Are you understanding? WebDriver, wait, W is equal to WebDriver, driver is equal to duration of second step. Now look at my screen, everyone. Look at my screen, everyone. This is the one-time object creation. What is this? This is the one-time object creation. So we have to create an object for WebDriver wait for only once. This is what one-time object creation. Okay. Once after creating, now what we should do? Now what we should do? Let's see. Now what we should do? Let's see. Now everybody look at my screen. Now what we should do? Where is it? Driver dot find element by dot id username. Okay, driver dot find element by dot id username. Before I perform, as I told you, before I perform the action, I need to check that element is being loaded. I'm able to perform the action. Are you understanding? Before I perform the action, I need to check whether the element is loaded. I would be able to perform action. Let me store it. Let me store it after finding it. Driver dot find element. Let me store it inside a variable. The return type is element. Okay, so how is this? This is somewhat like this. 10 is a value. 10 is a value which is stored in a variable called as a. The return type of this a is what? Integer. Are you understanding? The return type of this A is what? Integer. Yes or no? A is a value which is stored in a variable called as A. The return type is integer. So this is the address of an element. This is the address of the element which is stored in a variable. The return type of this is web element. Are you understanding? Are you understanding? Okay. Now, okay. Now look here. So now what I will do? Now I'll write a condition. W dot until expected conditions. Expected conditions. Now tell me, what is an action I'm doing? What's an action I'm doing? I am performing typing action. I'm performing what action? I'm performing typing action. So which is suitable method? I've taught you three methods. So which is a suitable method here? Which is suitable method here? Visibility of. Visibility of. Which element? This username. Let me change the reference variable so it will be helpful for you. Okay. Which element? Which element should be visible? Dot dot send keys. Dot send keys. Are you understanding? Until unless this element is loaded and this you will get the what? Send keys. Is it clear? Is it clear? Clear? Now. So next one. Now next one. So there's a button. So what button? Okay, button. So what I am going to do? I'm going to store this address. I'm going to store this address into a variable. I'm going to store this address into a variable called as button. The return time. So if you don't remember the return type, so you can just place your cursor. You can just place your cursor, create a local variable. Create a local variable that is web element. The return type of this is web element. Tell me which is a suitable method for the button that is click action. Wait until expected conditions. Which is a suitable method? Element to be clickable. Element to be clickable. Which element? Which element? Button dot click. Button dot click. Are you understanding? Are you understanding? Next. Title contains. So what I need to write here? W dot until expected conditions dot which one should I use here? Title contains. So what is the title it is containing? You can pass the actual title. Okay, so it will wait until that actual title has been found. Okay, how many seconds it will wait? 10 seconds is the maximum time. Now, if you look at this, this is also about like similar like thread dot sleep novice. For every line of the code you started writing, for every line of the code you started writing, isn't it? Isn't it? Yes or no? But see, it's a waste of using explicit wait for click action and type action. Correct, right? Yes or no? It's a waste of using type explicit wait for click action and type action. But for title contents, yes, it is useful because implicit wait does not support what? This one. But that it is useful. Are you understanding? Clear? Yes or no? It's useful, it's not useful, okay? It's useful only for this element. It's not useful for any other thing. Clear? Got it? Everybody's clear? Everybody's clear? Okay, so what is that conclusion? If you are on time, there will be no confusion. What is the conclusion? We always use only implicit wait statement. Okay, we always use implicit wait statement. This is for program which I copied. You people are not concentrating what is important, which is not important. You will be concentrating on that. Okay. Uh, are you understanding? So we don't use explicit wait in a real time. Okay, it's very rare. It's very rare we use it. Always we use what? Implicit wait only. We always use what? Implicit wait. But where you can use explicit wait, we can use it in this title contains. In this title containing, you can use. But because implicit wait does not support this method, correct? Very simple. Don't need to remember the methods. Whenever you want to perform typing action, whenever you want to perform typing action, we use a method called as what? Visibility of. Whenever you want to perform clicking action, we use element to be clickable. Understood? Mm. Copy down the syntax. Copy down the syntax. Copy down this. Copy down the syntax quickly. Example, not syntax. Example, example. Example. Copy down the example. But got an idea? We don't use, but they'll ask you for the interview. Because in implicit wait, we don't have method. Vikrant. In implicit wait supports only find element and find elements. It does not support any other methods. It does not support any other methods. It supports only find element and find elements. Okay? Start writing. Quickly, quickly, you have to finish it off. Oh, change the data. No, we cannot change the data. Correct, right? Now, what we will do, instead of always touching the what is program, can I store all this data inside one Excel sheet? Can I store all this data inside an Excel sheet? URL, username, password. Can I store it? Can I store it? Facebook.com, admin, manager. I can store it in. Everybody agrees? Now, now, I'll pass as a variable URL, username, password. I'll pass it as a variable username, URL, and password. Correct, right? Now tell me, whenever the data gets changed from admin, it got changed into ping pong, bingo, something it got changed. Correct, correct. So automatically this will get reflected and will get executed, isn't it? You keep changing your data in Excel, isn't it? You keep changing your data in Excel. Yes or no? Yes or no? Everybody understood. Everybody understood this. Everybody understood. So we never add code the data, we store it from the Excel sheet. This is clear. This is clear. Everybody's clear. Okay. Next concept. Now you have written 5 login scripts. I asked you to write 5 login scripts and come. Isn't it? Isn't it? We have written 5 login scripts and come. Now let's go with the test case number 1. That is your script, what you have written. Open browser. Maximize. Okay. Open browser. Maximize. Enter the URL. Enter. Okay. Then implicit wait. Then blah 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 blah. Close the application. Again, one more login script. Test case number 2. Open browser. Maximize. Enter the URL. Implicitly wait. Blah blah blah. Close. Test case number 3. Open the browser. Maximize. Enter the URL. Implicit wait. Blah blah blah. Close. Yes or no? Yes or no? This is how you have written. Oh, then enter valid. You have written. But when you look at your script, open browser, maximize, enter the URL, implicit wait. Open browser, maximize, implicit wait. Open browser, implant. Same code you're writing again, and close. Isn't it? Isn't it? Don't you feel it's a repetition of the code? You have written the code, correct? Right? You have written 5 login scripts. In all the 5 login scripts, these are the same. So why we go for automation? We go with the automation for what? Reusability, so that avoid the repetition of the code. Isn't it? Isn't it? Okay. Can I make it one library? Can I make it one library? Can I write it for one time? Can I make one library? Can I make it as one time? Open browser, maximize, enter URL, implicit wait, and close. Can I make it one library and can I keep using in other test cases? Isn't it? Can I make a library? Can I keep using in other test cases? Yes or no? Okay. Can I make it as one library? Yes or no? Okay. So I can call it as what? Library or step group. What is the meaning of step group? It's a number of steps which is grouped together. Number of steps which is grouped together. Can I write it one time? Can I reuse it by using inheritance concept for all the test cases? Are you understanding? Yes or no? No. Did you understood the first point? Did you understood the second point? Did you understood the first point? Did you understood the second point? Everybody is clear till here? Very good, super. Third point. Third point. Now, guys, when you consider application, when you consider a application, when you consider an application, the application will have lot of elements, correct? Drop down, mouse over, right click, right click, double click, scroll bar, etc., etc., etc. It will consist of so many elements like this. Yes or no? I've written few that has lot of elements. Yes or no? But tell me, to handle different elements, we have a different methods. Okay, so that is what we are going to study from tomorrow. That's what we are going to study from tomorrow. To handle different methods, we have different elements. Okay, now what we should do to handle these elements? Okay, so we have to write a generic methods, same like generic methods one time, and we should keep using them. You should write one time, you should keep using them. Everybody agrees? Because application can have multiple drop downs, application can have multiple mouse over, application have multiple right place. So you are going to write one time and we are going to reuse it again and again. We are going to write it one time and we are going to reuse it again and again. Yes or no? Isn't it? Isn't it? That's the third point. Whenever a test case fails, whenever a test case fails, we need to take a screenshot. We need to take a screenshot. Whenever the test case fails, we need to take a screenshot of the failed test cases. Isn't it? So whenever the test case get failed, we need to take a screenshot of the failed test cases. We need to take a screenshot of the failed test cases. Isn't it? Okay, so whenever the test case failed, we need to take a screenshot of the failed test cases. Isn't it? Isn't it? Guys, see here. Not only Selenium, any automation tool in this world you take, this process is constant. Are you understanding? Any automation tool in this world you take, the process is constant. And this is how they write. Now, guys, now understand everyone. You wrote a program. Okay, open browser, maximize, enter URL, enter valid username, valid password, click on login. Click on login. Now, here what did you write the code? Driver dot find element by dot using ID locator username. Correct? Driver dot find element by dot name locator password. Driver dot find element by dot XPath login. Correct? Right? So you're using what? ID, name, XPath. Without this, can you identify the element without writing driver dot find element, driver dot password, driver dot click? If I just click on run, will it go and identify the element? No. Listen, all the automation tool in this world are blind. All the automation tools in this world are blind. They will not understand. When you wrote the code, what it will do? It will go to the source code. It will check whether the ID is there with this address. Whatever address you have given, it is ID is there. Yes. Then only it will go search in the application and it will perform the operation. Are you understanding what it will do? It will go to the source code, it will check whether the element is there and it will perform the operation. Now tell me, without writing the element address, will it go and identify that element? Will it perform the action automatically? Is it possible? No, it is not at all possible. It is not at all possible. This we call it as a element repository. This we call it as what? Element repository. We're going to store all the addresses of the element. Okay, in detailed explanation of element repository, I'll teach you when I'm going to teach you this concept. I'm just giving you an idea. So all the elements I'm going to store it like ID, name, everything. So we can come, you can pick here, you can perform the operation. You can come, you can pick it, and you can perform the operation. Are you understanding? Are you understanding? Everybody understood this first thing. What's the first point? We should never hard code our data because data keeps changing. We store it in Excel, we fetch it. Correct? Okay, next. So always opening and closing of the browser, it's a repetitive task. We write it one time and we use it a number of times. Correct? Next. The application will call a lot of web elements, drop downs, mouse over, right click, scroll bar, everything. Correct, right? So we are going to write a generic methods for those, isn't it? Isn't it clear? Next. So whenever the test case get failed, we need to take a screenshot. Whenever the test case get failed, we need to take a screenshot for the failed test cases, isn't it? Next. Addresses. Addresses means what? Locators. Okay, let me call it as locators. So without locators we cannot identify the elements, isn't it? Without locators we cannot identify the element. Yes. So instead of writing always, so we can store it one place and we can reuse the locators again and again. Okay, we can reuse the locators again and again. Okay, is it easy? Is it easy? Can't you tell this much in your what, can't you tell this much in your what, in the interview? Can't you tell this much in the interview? Yes, that's all. If you tell, okay, freshers, if you tell you're equivalent to 4 years of experience and for fresher by default, can't you explain this, guys? Is it very difficult? Is it very difficult? Is it very difficult? Nothing is there. Nothing is there. I'll repeat once again. Look here. We should not hard code the data because data keeps changing. Okay. So what we should do? We should take it from the Excel sheet. When you look at the application, here what? The number of lines of the opening and closing is a repetitive process. You need to store it and you have to call it in other test cases. Application will have lot of elements, so we write a generic and methods and we reuse it. Whenever test case get failed, you have to take the screenshot. Okay, the addresses of the elements we are going to store it in one place that we call it as element repository. Elements in sense locators, ID, name, experts, all these locators we're going to store it in one place. This we call it as a locator repository or element repository. Everybody's clear? Everybody's clear? Can I put it in the Now let me combine all these things and let me put it in one thing, one diagram. Okay, let me put it in one diagram. So this is called as your framework architecture. Let me put it in one diagram. Framework architecture. Mm. Look here. Step number one. Step number one. We are going to create a constant. First thing, okay, what we will do, we will create one interface. We'll create an interface and we call it as auto constant. The name of this interface is auto constant. So what is the use of this interface? We are going to store all the constant such as your Excel path, your photo path. You have to store the path, right? Those paths will not be changing. So Excel path, photo path, you're going to store it inside one interface. So why are you storing inside interface? Anything you store in interface by default, it is constant. Yes or no? Anything you store in interface by default is constant. Yes or no? Correct, right? Next step. Next step. Look at here. Next step. Next step. Next step. Every time you need to open the browser, you need to close the browser. Correct? Every time you need to close the browser, open the browser. Correct? So we call it as what? Step group. We call it as what? A library or a group. Why we call it as the name of step group? The number of steps which is grouped together. So what are you writing the code? To open the application. What are the steps to open the application? Open browser, maximize, enter. Then close the application. So we have written the program to what? Open the application and close the application. Everybody understood the first step and second step. Understood the first step and the second step. Super. We are going to store the elements in a repository. I told you, no. So we can, that is locators. Locators, we are going to store it inside one repository. That repository in terms of pages. Okay, let's look here. When you consider application, application has lot of pages: login page, home page, product page, so many things. And here so many elements are there: username, password, login. Okay, and we're going to study about what next. It will have search text field, Okay, there is love cart button, wish list, everything correct, right? So all the elements related to this page, I'm going to store it in one page. So username ID is equals to username. This is name is equals to password. Okay, XPath is equals to login. So all the elements of this page. Okay, so ID is equals to search text field. Next, XPath is equals to cart button. XPath is equals to wish list. So all the elements of that respective pages, I'm going to store it in one different classes, so that it will be easy for me to access. Is it yes or no? All that addresses, so that we call it as a page object model. That we call it as what? Page object model. Okay, next. Whenever test case get failed, we need to take the screenshot of that test case. We need to take a screenshot of that test case. An application will consist of so many elements. What are those? Drop down, scroll bar, mouse over, okay, so many frames, so many elements it consists of. So that we are going to write it, and we are going to write the test case number 1, test case number 2, like this multiple test cases we are going to write, and we are going to execute. Understood? Everybody is clear? That's all, guys. Can't you explain this much in the interview? Can't you explain this much in the interview? Is it difficult? Is it difficult to explain this in an interview? Let's repeat. Come on. In the application or in the framework or project, you tell. Framework is nothing but your project. In my project, I stored all the constant inside. Constant means what? The path of photo path, Excel path, we are going to store it inside one interface. Okay. Opening application, closing application is what? Opening of the application and closing of the application is what? It's a repetitive process. So I will make it in one class. I'll make a step group. Okay, next. All the elements addresses, I'm going to store it inside one repository called as page object model. Application consists of drop down, mouse over, frame, so many elements that we are going to call it as WebDriver utility. It's a name, that's all. It's a utility, storage, container. We're going to store it inside one WebDriver utilities class. Okay. Whenever the test case get failed, we are going to take the screenshot. Okay. Using this, we are going to write the test cases. Using this, we are going to write the test cases. That's all. Clear? Any automation in this world, any framework you consider, this is what it is. So I've told you this in the day one. I've told you this in the day one. So I can relate it and I can tell what are you guys are studying. Okay, I can relate it. And data, we should not hard code the data. Correct, right? So you should take it from the Excel sheet. Data dot Excel. So we should take it, and we have to print the results also. No, we have to print the results. How many number of test cases pass, fail, and skip? Isn't it? Isn't it? That's all. Is your framework architecture. Can't you people explain this much? Can't you people explain this much? Okay. Now look at this. Look at this. Now let me segregate. Let me segregate. Data, page object model, step group. This you're going to study in the chapter 3. Okay. Next. This elements, chapter 2. Chapter 2. Understood? Combining everything. combining everything. That is only nothing but your chapter 4. Got an idea? Where are you? What are you learning? What you are supposed to learn in the future? Got an idea, overall idea on the selenium? Got an overall idea? You're going to read the data from Excel sheet. You're going to store all the elements in one repository. Opening and closing of the application, we write it. That we call as chapter 3. That's all. Now, handling these elements, we call it as chapter 2. Integrating everything. Like how is my diagram? Like that I'm going to write the program. That is only nothing but your chapter 4. Got an idea? What you will be studying? Why are you studying? Are you understood at least? Why are you studying this concepts? Are you understanding? So you should not hardcode the data. For that Excel you need to study. Repetition of the code you should not do. For that you are going to study annotations. Okay. Next, the elements. Okay, the elements you need to store it in one place because it is easy for the reusability purpose. It is easy for the usability purpose. So we use a concept called page object model. That's all. Easy. Did you get a clarity on the subject? And if you start attending the interviews, if anybody asks you the framework architecture, can you draw this diagram? Can you explain it? You have to draw and explain. Can you draw this and can you explain it? Isn't it easy? Nothing is there. I'll repeat again. In my project, all the constant, Excel path, photo path, okay, those are all constant. I'll give you the notes later. This is very simple. Just remember, I'll give you proper notes later. Okay. See, in my project, Excel path, photo path is constant. I'm going to store it inside one interface. Okay. Second point number 2. Every time I need to open the browser, close the browser. It's a repetitive process. I will store it in my library or called a step group. Step number 2. Data keeps changing. I'll not hard code the data. I'll read it from the Excel sheet. Elements are more. There will be number of elements. In order to reuse those elements, I store it in the page object model. Okay. Application consists of lot of elements, drop down mouse or scroll down like this. We're going to store it in one class and we are going to reuse them. If a test case get failed, it will take the screenshot and generates the report. That's all. So this is step number 1. Are you understanding? Step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's all. Okay. Don't need to tell in anything. You can tell in whatever English sentence it is. That's what I'm going to give you theory also later. But did you got an idea that what we will be studying? What is a framework architecture? Now, if you start attending interview, can't you draw this diagram and can't you explain this? Did you got an idea at least what are you studying and what stage you are up to? So first chapter we understood how we can identify the element. Okay, first we understood what? How do you identify an element? By using the locators, we wrote a simple script. Using those locators, okay, we wrote a simple scripts to open, enter username, password, click on login. Okay, there are so many elements, correct, right? Drop down, scroll bar, frame, so many elements are there. How do you handle those elements? That you are going to study in the chapter 2, which we are going to start it from tomorrow. Got an idea what exactly you're studying and where are you now? You're here. You're here. Got it. If anybody asks you in any of the interview, can you answer this question? Can you answer this question? Yes, super. Now, one small concept is there. I hope it is this. Oh, 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 oh. What is this? Hmm. Look here. Okay, now everybody listen. We have few more methods. We have few more methods, and let me tell you the usage of these methods. Now look here. Okay, we have methods. We have now look here. Web elements. Web element. Web element is an interface. Okay, web element is an interface. It has three kinds of methods. How many methods it has? It has three kinds of methods. One is actions methods. One is getters methods. And one was verification. One is action methods. One is getters method. One is verification method. Actions methods. We have send keys. So what's the use of send keys? What's the use of send keys? For typing. Click, clear, submit. Get, get text, get attributes, no method, get location, get location, get location, and get size. Next is displayed. Next is enabled and is selected. Okay, let's look at here. In WebDriver, how many methods we have? In WebDriver, how many methods we have? 13 abstract methods, correct? We have in WebDriver how many? 13 abstract methods. So close method, quit, find element, find elements. Okay, those things and all we studied. And we started studying uses of one element. So we studied what's the use of find element, we studied what's the use of close method, we understood get title, get current URL. Yes or no? Correct, right? Like this also, in web elements also, we have few methods. In web elements also, we have few methods. So already we started using two methods, which is that. We started using two methods. Send keys for typing, click is for clicking purpose. Correct, right? So we are going to use this other methods also. And what is this purpose? I will tell you tomorrow. And we are going to start up with the chapter 2. We are going to start up with the chapter 2. Make heading web elements. Make heading web elements and make a copy of this. Tomorrow I'll give you the explanation of this and we are going to start up with chapter 2. Clear? See. This is just an idea. This is just an idea what I've given. Okay, this is just an idea I've given on the framework. The notes I'm going to give you at the end only. I'll not give you the notes. This you can tell it in your own sentence. This you can tell it in your sentence. If you want, you can copy down the diagram. Okay, that you can tell it. But a proper definition will be given to you at the later. Okay, yes, please make a note. Make a note of this and framework both. Start making a note. Done? Done? Copied this? Start writing. And explain your own sentence. I'll repeat quickly. See, all the constants that we are going to store it inside one interface. All the constant we are going to store it inside the interface. That we call it as auto constant. Okay. So we should not opening browser and closing the browser is a repetitive process. So that we will write it in one place that we call it as a library or the step group. Okay. See, we should not hard code the data. We should read the data from the Excel sheet. Okay. So if you consider web application will have lot of elements that we are going to store it at one place. Okay. We are going to write the test cases. If the test cases get failed, we will take a screenshot and we are going to reproduce the report. That's all. We're going to generate the reports, not reproduce, generate. Yeah. Start writing. Okay. After writing, bye-bye. Let's catch up tomorrow. Let's continue the chapter 2. Okay. So hardly another one, 5, 10, 15, 18 days. 18 days from tomorrow. Okay. From 18 days from tomorrow, I'm going to finish your syllabus. Don't be late. Be on time. That I keep telling you guys, and you're all always on late. Be on time. Okay. Be on time. Be on time. Okay, now. Thank you. Bye bye. Let's catch up on Monday. Sorry, let's catch up tomorrow. Let's continue. Bye bye. See, 18 days from now. I'll push it. I'll push it to the GitHub. 18 days from now, we're going to finish your syllabus. So 18 days from now means 1, 2, 3. Yes. By 28th. 28th is the last Selenium class. I told 24th, no. 28th would be your last class. 28th would be your last class. Thank you. Bye-bye. Notes and quotes will be accessible for you. Bye bye. See you tomorrow. Be on time.